Okay, so get this. You're in court, right? And it's down to the wire, evidence flying around. But then the whole case hinges on an algorithm.
Whoa, really paints a picture, huh? Like something out of a sci-fi flick, yeah.
Total Minority Report vibes. But the wild part is, it's not sci-fi anymore. AI is landing right in the courtroom and it's shaking things up.
And that's what's got everyone talking, right? This isn't some tech demo. This is our legal system colliding head-on with the digital age.
No doubt. And there's this case, the Weber case. It's like the poster child for this whole thing. Started out as a trust accounting dispute, pretty run-of-the-mill.
Yeah, your typical trust fund drama, right?
Yeah.
But then it takes this wild turn when they bring in an AI tool.
An AI expert witness, to be precise, which sounds almost normal now that you say it out loud, but I guess that's how sneaky this all is, right?
Exactly. So you've got Charles Ranson, the expert witness, and he decides to use Microsoft Copilot. It's an AI chatbot to help him crunch the numbers for potential damages.
So AI doing math sounds kind of logical, even efficient, if you ask me. What's the catch?
Well, that's where the plot thickens. Ranson, he feeds the data to Copilot, it spits out some numbers, but when pressed, he couldn't actually explain how Copilot got those results.
Like baking a cake but refusing to share the recipe. Oh, the oven just knew what to do.
Exactly. And in court, that's a massive problem. That lack of transparency raises huge red flags about the reliability of the evidence. How can you trust a verdict based on something nobody can explain?
It'd be like, imagine trying to defend yourself in court, but the evidence is this mysterious black box that nobody can look inside. Talk about a nightmare scenario.
And that's a very dilemma AI throws at our justice system. How do we balance the potential of this technology with the right to a fair trial, where everything is open and above board?
And to their credit, the judge in the Weber case saw this problem right away and took action. Some might even say they laid down the law, so to speak.
Oh, they absolutely did. Game changer, really, from that point on. Lawyers have to disclose if they've used AI in building their case, no more algorithmic secrets.
And not just that, but get this, the judge ruled that this AI evidence, it's got to go through a Frye hearing.
Which, for those who don't speak legalese,
Yeah, let's translate that from lawyer to human. What's a Frye hearing?
basically, it's a way to test if scientific evidence is legit enough to be used in court. So now, AI's on the stand, being put through the ringer just like any other forensic technique.
So we're holding AI's feet to the fire, making sure it plays by the rules of evidence. That's reassuring, right? But the judge in this Weber case, they didn't stop at just setting new rules.
Not even close. This is where it gets really interesting. The judge, they actually rolled up their sleeves and dove right into the AI themselves. Used Microsoft Copilot to retrace the expert steps, see if they got the same result.
Hold up, the judge actually used the AI. Talk about getting your hands dirty.
They weren't messing around.
Yeah.
And get this, they plugged in similar data, right? But what popped out, different numbers than what Ranson got.
Whoa, so the judge is like, I'm going to test this thing myself, and the AI flunks the test. Never heard of a judge getting that involved with the tech itself.
It's unheard of. And it points to a much bigger question that's starting to pop up. How much should judges be tinkering with these AI tools when they're weighing evidence?
Right, it's a tightrope walk, isn't it? Judges got to keep up with the times, especially when tech's becoming so central to these cases. But there's a line somewhere. When does using these tools cross over into, like, questioning their impartiality? Like, are they judge, jury, and AI programmer now?
Exactly. Uncharted territory. It's going to take some serious thought to navigate. But speaking of uncharted territory, let's talk about hearsay for a second. Might seem out of left field, but trust me, it's relevant.
Hearsay, always a legal thriller waiting to happen. I'm all ears.
Okay, so imagine you hear about this amazing movie, right? Your friend raves about it, but they didn't actually see it themselves, just heard it from someone else. Hearsay is kind of like that in the courtroom. Often can't be used because you can't cross-examine the original source.
Makes sense. Got to go to the source, right? But how does this tie back to AI in court?
Well, when AI generates evidence, it's like that game of telephone, isn't it? We don't know what data it's using, how it's processing it, or the why behind its conclusions. It's a black box. Like you get a delicious meal, but no clue what's in it or how it was made.
Talk about a recipe for legal disaster. So how do we make sure things are fair, transparent, when this AI evidence is on the table? What are our options here?
The million-dollar question, right? Can we squeeze AI-generated info into the existing rules for expert testimony, or do we need a whole new playbook? One idea is to demand full transparency from the get-go. Experts, they got to lay it all out, what AI they used, its quirks, what they fed it, how they double-checked its work. No more hiding behind the curtain.
No more Wizard of Oz stuff in the courtroom.
Yeah.
But this feels bigger than just tweaking the rules, doesn't it? Like, this is changing how we think about evidence itself.
Absolutely. The Weber case, cases like it, they're just the tip of the iceberg. It's a wake-up call to lawyers, judges, everyone in the legal system, adapt or get left behind. AI waits for no one, and we've got to be ready.
It's like we're building the plane while we're flying it, right? Except the plane is our legal system and the engine is AI, and nobody's quite sure how to fly this thing yet.
That's one way to put it. But you're right, this isn't some abstract problem for future generations to figure out. It's happening now, and the stakes are high. We're talking about people's lives, their livelihoods, all being affected by decisions that might be influenced by AI.
Exactly. And it's not just about AI replacing judges or lawyers or anything like that. It's more subtle, right?
Right.
Like, how much influence will AI have on the decisions being made? Can we even call it a fair trial if these algorithms are working behind the scenes?
Right. And it's not about demonizing AI either. It's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. The challenge is making sure that in the legal system, it's always used ethically, responsibly, and transparently.
So no more black boxes in the courtroom, right? But how do we get there? What needs to change for AI to actually strengthen our legal system instead of becoming a liability?
Well, for starters, we need to educate everyone involved. Judges, lawyers, even jurors. They all need a crash course in AI literacy, how these systems work, their limitations, their potential biases. It all needs to be out in the open.
Right, because how can you argue a case effectively or make a fair judgment if you don't even understand the technology that's influencing the evidence?
Exactly. And beyond education, we need clear guidelines, standards, even regulations for how AI can be used in legal proceedings. When is it appropriate to use an AI tool? What kind of transparency is required? How do we ensure human oversight and accountability? These are all questions we need answers to.
So it's a team effort then. Lawyers, judges, lawmakers, even tech experts all working together to figure this out.
Absolutely. And we need to be having these conversations now while AI is still relatively new to the legal arena. Because the longer we wait, the harder it will be to steer this technology in the right direction.
It's like we have a chance to get ahead of this thing, set the right precedents, make sure AI upholds the principles of justice that our legal system is built on. It's a tall order, no doubt, but incredibly important.
It is. But I'm optimistic. The very fact that we're having this discussion, that people are aware of the challenges and the potential pitfalls, that's a good sign. It means we're taking this seriously. And that gives me hope that we can find a way to make AI work for justice, not against it.
Well said. It's been a fascinating and slightly terrifying glimpse into the future of law. AI is here to stay, that much is clear. But how it shapes our legal system, how we balance its potential with the need for fairness and transparency, that's the story we'll be watching unfold in the years to come. This has been The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.